Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me. Hi. Welcome to this week's episode of Dark Rain, where we are delicious, salacious, and delicious. I almost said bitches, but I feel like we're not all bitches. But we could be if we wanted to. Yay! Trigger warning. There's just a lot of swear words. There's a lot of dick jokes. Just Olvar. Really.
It's a walking trigger.
There's depictions of objectification and slavery. There's culture issues. There's political issues. So just be warned. Yeah. Hi. let's have a good game.
Okay, I'll read these notes really quickly and we'll do a recap, but I
recap.
really need to pee. So I think, Nat, you should do it.
You think I was all ready for your reading my notes. All right.
Okay, I will read the notes, all right? I will hold it in like a champion. Out in the hall, they encounter a drow in a puddle of blood. This is directly from Nat's notes, everyone. The drow's neck is slashed and eyes are open there. During the battle, Sylvis meets his patron in the waiting room. His name is Root. I am Root. The drow throws little blood squid things. Try to face hugger us. When they die, they splat and become mold. Danriel slays it. Ha! Danriel successfully summons Ecliptian Dawn. Hey, that's Sidril's sword. They use the sword to remove all of our slave bands. Olvar has a bunch of magic items, but he doesn't remember what they are. I don't remember what any of these are, and might actually probably be cursed. Once the slave bands are removed, Adra casts Lesser Restoration on Olvar and Sylvis, the horny bastard, both puke and shit out the blood blister squid things. They move north, where they feel an odd wind. Ambush! 5 more squish drow. Danriel hears a humanoid screaming to the north. They draw kind of a and click like a chant. This stops once the scream ends abruptly. At the end of combat, very important, guys, at the end of combat, they hear the roar of a pain dragon. The end. You're welcome.
That's good. I'd say eggs is so good, Nat. Actually, you're so red, but those are great notes.
But it's all right.
And they're great notes. They're actually so good. I'm laughing because you're embarrassed, but you shouldn't be because your face is cute. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad my face
I can see these. Oh God, I would rather die. Like I can see it.
That was really had to add some sound effects. Had to do that for you. No problem.
The sound effects is not the part I was concerned about. Anyway,
the squishy drow.
This and shit out squishy blood sucking face hugger.
Try to face hugger us. It's very good. That's very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. Good. Thank you.
Made sense in my brain.
Made sense to me. Like, I'll be real. It made sense to me. So, valid.
Yeah, I could follow the whole thing. I was like, yeah. I was with you.
Before my eyes, once again.
All right. Return your gaze with me to the Underdark, where many strange and terrible things lie. Adra is still a fuzzy friend.
Bark.
Behind you, Ulvar leans, sweating, against the cave wall. gasping for air in a subtle way, coughing and sputtering. The roar has died. There is no continuation of the noise. What would your party like to do as you stand in the vestiges of this jellied and disgusting battle? No. Doesn't feel good, but let me make his saving throw. Hold on. He throws up a little bit. Oh my god, come on. Ah! Okay. After a little bit of... No. After a little bit of gagging and hurling, using the wall to really prop him up, he's able to get the nauseous feeling to reside, and he makes his saving throw.
Should we go back and get the others before we continue forward?
And he kind of shuffles forward, and when he gets here, he add your roll of perception.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perception?
Yeah.
A dirty 20.
You get the distinct sense that someone is reaching for you moments before he makes contact, and then the static involved in his rough petting of your behind and tail is intense. And then he shoves his face into your fur, right between your shoulder blades. Puppy. And sniffs deeply.
She grumbles. Like, not a full, like, I'm not gonna make this sound. Just like doggy grumble, I guess. But I suppose her, like, because she's like big, the tail kind of like just in case he fucking falls. You know what? Since like everybody around us is dead, she's gonna turn back. Hopefully he doesn't fall. But as I'm turning, like, I reach down for one of my penicillin pouches and I shove it in his mouth.
Oh, with your paw?
No, I know I
You
turned
shift.
human. Yeah, I'm
Oh, you're
turning
shifting back. Oh,
Yeah.
I had the most crazy image in my
I
head
don't
of like
think
this
I have
big ass paw.
pockets
It's like
as the dire wolf. I don't think so. It's for the time he shoved his fingers in my mouth. Yes.
Okay, he does stumble, but he catches himself. His
I
head
don't
kind of
let him
knocks
fall.
against
I'm like,
it. Oh, he almost knocks his head against yours, but you manage to like straighten him, and he just says, "Well, he doesn't say anything because he opens his mouth, and you're shoving in the penicillin packet, and he's like, no,
suck.
mmm,
Isn't it your favorite?
Sucking. So good. This is the sucking I like to do. So good.
You'll have to wait until I sleep, because like I don't have any magic for you for today.
When you say that, his head tilts.
I did not know you liked it that way.
Huh? did it? I didn't catch that.
I like to get freaky too. It's okay. But sleeping. There are 2 ethereals. I have 2 hands. I could.
And he looks like he's really considering going over there and having cute aggression, but he's like,
No. No, I won't.
mm. He like goes to shove it in his eye and he's like, oh, unscrews the cap.
He looks at it. I can drink this with your medication, right?
I'm sure it's not gonna do any worse.
Okay.
And then he gargles.
Hmm.
And he swallows the packet. You can roll it. But he swallows the whole packet, including the strips of cloth. Coughs a little. He tries to hide it. I rolled a 3, so it's very obvious. And he's like,
Right. We should probably go get Cal. He's probably in need. Probably lonely.
nice.
Yeah, a huge deal. Big deal. Something roar. Who knows? Could be another furry.
We are perfectly fine. Don't know why you would ask such a silly question. He just looks at his phantom and they both look at Ulvar. One is not like the other, by the way.
My mind goes to a very specific place when you say that.
I imagine
what
that
way?
places. I imagine that places most certainly some sort of sexual intercourse or 3-way or whatever you
It's-
prefer.
Very wholesome. It's a very wholesome place that it comes from. Is the cream the same color? Is it the same between the 2 of you? Is it? Do you share this?
Would you like to
Is it
find out
one-
with the? Would you like to find out
Is-
with the other? Hmm. Doesn't have much in the way of personality, sadly.
He looks around.
Right here on the open?
Adra likes it when she's sleeping.
I didn't know.
I'm gonna slap him between his fucking shoulder blades.
Ugh. You have to keep morale up. There's you know, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you're keeping something else up. Okay, never mind. Let's go.
I have good blood flow. Zero, we'll talk about it later, okay? Me and you. And your other
He
one.
just kind of rolls his eyes.
You did this. You gave me the idea.
I like it. I'm ready.
And he's gonna start very slowly walking back or shuffle. Any roleplay among the 3 of you?
I was about to help him shuffle.
Okay, no roleplay. Danriel's really focused. All right. Adra?
No, I was like about to help him shuffle because I'm still on the fucking nurse mode.
His eyebrows lift.
Do I have anything on me that I can use as a fucking mouth gag on him?
I mean, there's definitely something
do
you can
you-
use as a mouth gag.
I mean, sure, go ahead. Just try not to to make too much contact with him.
I give you my full-hearted consent. However, Edra, say on accident I maybe swallowed some of the dressing of that thing. Do you think that's gonna be okay? Or do you think it's going to get stuck? Come
Well,
out the wrong end? I'm not saying I swallowed it. I just, if I did, in the event there was an accidental swallowing of non-cream related things, like a tincture, would I
Well,
die?
there's only one way to find out, isn't it? Can only hope
His
that
face drops a
Drow
little.
can only hope that Drow use very natural dyes and fabric.
Right, okay.
He starts sweating a little, and then he puts his arms up to Danriel and says, "A piece, a piece." They're rolling athletics. It's exactly how he wants to be carried. He actually like tries to kick his leg up, make it a little easier. Okay. He athletics. He's a lot lighter than he looks. You're surprised. And he he does cuddle right into your neck.
Your hair is very unique. I like the color. Mm-hmm.
Anything for ethereal.
He's just gonna kind of wave his hand over to the shade as it slowly will fade away. And he just kind of tilts his head to the side. It's a shame we had no real blood to shed, to revel in the massacre of these fucking drow. A shame.
You could massacre me with two of you. I already consented.
That's what we call playing London Bridge, Orc.
I do not know what this London is, but I am ready to be your bridge. Danriel, your arms are very strong.
And he's like touching your shoulders, and he's like slides down to your biceps.
You're very good muscle. Very. Yeah, it's it's pretty good. Now, the scales, is that the type of skin condition that you have? I'm just curious. Sometimes in the winter when I wear just leather pants and no panties, yeah, I get a little bit of a sore dry skin and it's not pleasant. Oh, they're new. Maybe it is a allergic reaction to being under no sun, maybe.
Adra is just right next to you too, and just like Shaking her head.
Tyrrell, are you coming to London Bridge? Or are you still sad? There's no,
Hmm?
there's no, nothing.
Oh, no. I mean, I'll follow. I mean, that can happen whenever. That's just, shake of the hand
As
and the shade returns.
as Olvar questions this time, he actually rolls an insight. I natural 20'd. I got that's a 27 on his insight. He's watching to see if there's actually like a duality to you. Because immediately after the battle, tense, amped up, kind of murdery, and then when you say he's looking to insight.
Oh yeah, there's definitely something else there. Like there's something buried deep beneath that when the need to cause harm or spill any blood, something much deeper and darker inside him begins to rise from beneath. And he would also kind of notice like this red glint in the shade as it would have fade away in its eyes. As if
Okay.
implying that even the shade has this kind of feral, dark nature to it.
All right. He will make note of that, but not say anything. He'll just kind of skitty kitty at you. So handsome, kitty kitty.
Oh, do you mean this? And then he's gonna put the cat that was on his shoulder in his arms, begin petting them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like this cat's. He has very handsome pants. Yes.
Yeah, the cat is not impressed with Olvar, but does allow itself to be pet. It does rub up against Danriel's cheeks with a loud purr. We're gonna, unless there's any other roleplay for the three of you, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So while your battle is happening, to Caldrian, who is alone in the cell with Glyph. So we'll slide here. So this is maybe pre-Sylvis, but Sylvis is unconscious in the cell with you. And, oh, okay.
Ignore me.
You really are a
Glyph
piece of work.
Yeah, he's quiet. You say he's a piece of work. Okay, okay.
You know that? Charging in here like some tragic hero thinking you can, what, save me? What are you expecting, Glyph? A thank you? A happy ending? Hate to break it to you, but that's not how this works. I thought you knew that.
What's your passive insight?
13.
Everything he's endured the last, 3 weeks, you can tell kind of they weigh heavy on that spirit of his. There's very little fight in him, but there is determination. There is a very stubborn tilt to his expression. And though he doesn't say anything out loud, you know that in his mind, he's telling you you're wrong. It's the tenacity, that stubborn, I'm going to do this thing even though I'm not going to say anything, and I'm just going to do it. He thinks you're wrong.
How will sit on the floor beside Glyph, head against the wall. You know, you should have just left me here. I've been through worse. I could have handled it, but you, look at you. You're a mess. And for what? Because you thought I needed you? Because you what? You care?
I'm not gonna fight you on this.
You're an idiot. A stubborn, reckless idiot.
Everybody needs somebody, Cal.
I don't need anybody.
Then you're the idiot.
You know, I used to rely on people. And you want to know what that got me? Nowhere. Death. Here. So no, if anyone's the
Maybe.
idiot, it's you coming here, putting yourself in the same fucking place that I am. Why would you do that?
You relied on. Closes his mouth and looks away.
You know, as much as you're reckless, you, He looks at Glyph, and there's this flash of vulnerability in his eyes. And he quickly buries it, and you see this hard, icy appearance. You've got more guts than most people I've known. More than me, probably. You think I don't see it, don't you? The way you look at me? Like I'm worth saving, like I'm worth anything? I don't get it, Glyph. I don't deserve it. And yet you're still here. I don't need you here. I have nothing to give you. There is nothing I can offer you. I have already given away every piece of myself that matters. And you want to know why I gave it away? Do you want to
And he
know
looks at you.
why I'm still here? Want to know why this isn't even that bad? There's this cold
looking.
tone to his voice.
Why?
His tail flicks out, and it's against Glyph's throat. Because I'm going to kill every single person who decided that my body was theirs to fuck with, who decided that everyone else deserved to die. I'm going to take my goddamn revenge. Because when I rise from this fucking grave, I'm going to destroy everyone. And if you stand in my way, and he presses a little harder with his tail, I'll kill you too.
His eyes are watering. And he leans forward into the blade of your tail. Some people are worth dying for.
There is hesitation. Caldrian pulls back his tail a little bit. Did he cut
There's a
Glyph's throat?
small prick. The blood wells and drips.
Cal reaches over and swipes it with his thumb. And he looks around making sure that no one else is watching. And he dabs the blood from his neck. Tries to do what he can to kind of like just make sure it stops bleeding. You just don't fucking die, okay? That's just... If anyone's gonna kill you, it's gonna be me, alright? Just don't die, you idiot. I've got enough of my conscience without adding you to it, you stubborn, stupid idiot. And he pulls up his cloak and kind of tucks Glyph into it, literally making sure no one else is watching.
As you do, he reaches with a tentative hand and takes yours. And it isn't like he grabs it, he just puts pressure where you've tugged your coat around his shoulders, his hand on top of yours, and it's warm. And when you try to pull away, he does grip it against his shoulder.
You're not supposed to care about me.
Well, I do.
That's not how people like me survive. You let someone in and they will break you every damn time.
I told you that I love the color of your eyes. And he shifts a little closer. Have I told you that I love the tilt of your jaw, the arrogance in your words?
Caldrian tilts his head back against the... just leans back. Won't look at him. And he just sighs. Go on, continue. You were praising me. I'm listening.
He stands, but he's quite a bit shorter than you. When he steps closer, and you feel him reach and touch the scar on your mouth.
Why?
Loving you is easy for me. It's as natural as my next breath.
You're a fool.
Let me help you.
Help me what?
However I can.
There is a softness in Caldrian's eyes. And he reaches out his hand to Glyph's cheek. And he grabs his chin and pulls him right to his face, like he's this close.
He is blushing. You feel the heartbeat elevate.
He pulls Glyph in closer until Glyph's ear is against his lips.
His ears got that like fawn, like little fur going on. He hasn't quite grown into his masculine horns yet. He's supposed to get those any summer now.
He whispers into Glyph's ear, I don't know what you see in me, Glyph. I don't. All I see when I look in the mirror is the mess that I've made. The people I have failed, the ones I have hurt. And you look at me like there's something worth saving. Maybe I am a fool for pushing you away. But either way, you're here now. And I won't let anything happen to you. And then he pushes him back, so he's looking at him in the eyes again. He says, but do not think for 1 second that I will let this slide, because you being here is a burden. It is a burden and a weight on my heart. And when we get out of here, and we will get out of here, I will make sure you never pull a stunt like this again, and I will disappear from your life, and you will never see me again.
His eyes widen.
There are better things in this world than me, Glyph. And when I'm done here, there will not be a piece of me left that you know, that you have known, or that you will know in the future. Does that make sense? Do you understand?
Think you're afraid.
He tilts his head back against the wall again and pushes Glyph. I have nothing to be afraid of.
I think you are. I think you're afraid of everything I make you feel. You're afraid. But he says it in a way that it sounds like he's trying to convince himself.
Cal looks at him, and his eyes completely change. You can see the veins sprouting from the corners of his eyes, overtaking his face. I don't feel anything for you.
Roll a deception.
So bad. It's only a 10.
He believes you. But he says, you're a liar.
Cal smirks in that cocky, casual way. But there is the look in his eyes is completely different than that look, like that smirk. It is opposite. It is pained. You know, if you would just hurry up and heal already, then you could get your sorry ass out of the way. And I wouldn't have to think about you anymore.
His shoulders tense, and his ears flick back, and he lifts his chin. And he mutters something quiet under his breath, and he turns away from you, and he moves over to Sylvis to check on Sylvis.
Caldrian closes his eyes. And silently, there is just silent tears. Because he does care. But he's so concerned that Glyph is putting his life in danger for somebody who doesn't deserve it, who doesn't need it. Because Cal has already traded the good parts of himself. He's giving up pieces of himself so that he could take his revenge. He's like, it's not worth loving me because I'm not going to be around long enough to be able to accept it. But man, the amount of self-loathing he feels for even saying the words to Glyph because he fucking cares so much. Because God, being shown love in any way, how long has he craved that for? So he just silently sitting there, his eyes closed, trying to suppress that feeling.
The cell is quiet, but it is quiet in the way tombs are silent, where love goes to die. And in this whirling backdrop of self-hatred and loathing, your eyes snap open at a gentle tugging. Glyph has tucked your jacket up around your throat like a blanket. And he sits by you.
How close does he sit?
His shoulder touching yours. You're like a star when I look at you. A black streaking comet in the night. Rare and different, but no less beautiful for its ferocity and its power.
Cal leans his head to rest on Glyph's shoulder. And he pulls the side of the blanket to cover Glyph, or his coat to cover Glyph as well.
Your party shows up not too long after. And it is actually Olvar's voice that sort of breaks the tension. Um,
So I was thinking, if we could somehow figure out how to make ourselves look like Drow, we might be able to go get Regis just swaggering out there. Don't have any paint that I think I might. I don't know. Hear me out. You don't know that. You don't have to ruin my dreams. We could shape the mushrooms to look like pointed ears. We would have to shave Ethero's face, though. We could
You-
take Ethero's fur, which is black, and put it on our own face.
You are not shaving me in the slightest, orc.
You could shave yourself.
You put
and
a
just-
razor to me, I will put a razor to you.
I mean, I am a little scruffy. I could use a bit of a. Anyways, it's not a bad idea. We could. I mean, Adra also has a lot of black fur. We could. I'm just saying, we've probably got to figure out how to get him before Sylvis wakes up, and it's just a lot of more sadness for the poor guy. I think that's why he passed out. It's just overexertion and just raw. I'm a deer. He's a deer, right? He's a forest puppy.
He's a goat.
He's a.
That's what
He's
I
a
call him. He's a
goat.
goat.
There's no way he's a goat. He does not have goat beard.
None of those.
He's a beardless goat. Do we really have to debate semantics here?
He has a beard.
No, not like a goat. Not like a long, like stringy thing that's not handsome on his face. His looks good. Better than mine, actually.
We've never had to
Yeah.
argue aesthetics over
It's a pertinent conversation.
I feel like you need to be slapped currently back into reality.
This is the reality, okay? Yes, we are in a death cult. Yes, Drow are evil. They like to try to break our spirit. Yes, it is horrible. But inside, we have to have magical sunshine. Like this music. Listen, and he starts singing. And I'm not gonna sing, but it's just this song that he's like singing to the tune of.
I think the tension.
Adras, pussy smells like sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Make happiness on the inside, cause outside is sad. Yeah. Oh, look, it's Cal and Glyph. You look kind of cold and sad too. We're going to have to throw the biggest party when we're actually out with Dragis and everybody. Thank you for carrying me. Very princely. So, anyways. Yeah, he brushes his palms off on his leathers. And he straightens. Oh, there's a big pop of his sternum. So there is something we need to go save, and he just downloads his version of the battle. Which is pretty false, actually. It's just largely over-exaggerated.
So basically, you're telling me that you fought a bunch of strange, goopy, disgusting creatures, and now you've, what, come back to tell me about it?
Unless you would like to stay here. I mean, I would miss your presence to a degree, Aldrin.
How very nice of you, pussycat.
I feel like
He's
you're added
promised-
to the list of slaps now. That's you and
Hold
the
on.
orc.
No, hold on. You're going to Eiffel Tower me. Right? Hold on. Whatever that is. Wait, London Bridge. Wait. Pearl. Wait.
I'm sorry, are you two together now? Is that what this is?
I made a joke and he took it to heart.
Oh, you made a sex joke and you thought Ulvar wouldn't take that and use it to his advantage to find himself a little
I would be
relief.
incredibly disappointed if you break my heart. I'll cry like a
Oh,
baby.
poor
Oh
baby.
no, not tears from the orc. Oh, Lord have mercy on us all. The gods would weep with you.
You can see that
They do. They get sad
Cal
with me. You mean there are gods of like romance and stuff, and like they, sexy times. Like, and he's muttering to himself as he's like over by the bed where
Cal
Adra
shifts
sleeps, and he's
away
like
from
rifling through shit.
Glyph. He says, "Did you know that cuddling's excellent for morale? Who knew? But yeah, gods of love. I don't think we have any connections with them, Ulvar. I'm sorry to tell you. Love
You
is
don't know
overrated."
that. You are just a naysayer. That's all. Naysayer. You say nay, I say not nay. That's the difference between us. I am not a naysayer. You are.
You also don't listen to the nay, Ulvar. Just
Why?
saying.
It does not fit my vernacular. Of course I don't listen. It
If-
shifts my paradigm in a ways uncomfortable. Okay, I'm ready. And he pulls out a cloak. Puts it on.
So what's the plan? What do you mean, what does it do?
No,
Oh, so we're playing a little game of what does this magical item do and will it kill us? What an excellent game. Here, pass some to me.
no, you're a naysayer. You don't believe in love. Only people
Oh,
who
but I
believe in
just
love
said
get
yes.
magic items
Oh,
from Ulvar.
Ulvar. He stands up and he walks over to you and he just kisses you on both cheeks. Ulvar, please, oh darling, please, my sweet orc lover, please give me your magical items and let's see what happens.
He chuckles and says, my dick's pretty magical.
I know, I've seen it. It's also the size of my forearm. That thing
Okay.
is... What these?
Okay.
I'm sorry, what are you doing? Freeing me. For what price? What, do you do it out of the kindness of your heart?
Some people are kind, Cal. Some people are good. Like Adra. Adra's good. She's very good. She gave me edible cloth that won't kill me as it passes through my bowels. And if you roll, he's very good when he's not killing. When he's killing, don't know. It's just
Does Glyph still have his bands?
yes.
Remove his first, and then I'll decide. Glyph, come here.
Okay. Everything about him is pretty. Like he holds up his wrists and it's like, wow, those are so pretty. And he has such cute little pretty hands. Yeah, masculine, very masculine, but very, wow, you are beautiful.
Are they like Finnick hands? You know that... Got you.
Mm-hmm. Roll a charisma saving throw, Danriel.
Can you hear me now, chat? There we go. Chat suddenly said they couldn't hear me, so that's great. Cool. Love that. Fixed it, though. Anyway, I'm sorry. What am I rolling? I was concerned about my mic.
Charisma saving throw.
Oh, that's right. Oh, no.
And then Olvar over in the corner muttering to himself, just
it's just asinine vernacular that doesn't really add anything to the conversation. They're just little quips. He's like pulling out a ton of magic items, and he's like, "Okay, I think I remember what some of these are, and I'm going to need you guys to come over here and shift through magic things so we can use them and maybe not die."
Okay.
Except for Mr.
Wonderful. It's my
NPC.
turn to pull things out of you.
Oh, like a moan.
First, you have to
Or the
put them
moan.
in. Ethereal.
I got a
Oh,
16
don't worry.
plus
I'm going to
1
put it in. And then I'm going to pull it out just in time.
on my Christmas save.
Olvar just shivers. He's like, "Ooh." Egyptian dawn fades slightly, becoming more ephemeral the more you use it, as if its time in the prime material
I know.
has
Actually,
ended.
concerned about that.
But you remove his bands.
Okay. I don't know how many more times I can do this.
Him first.
Well, I got his. His are done.
And everyone else is taken care of?
Yes.
And how about Mr. Goatman over there?
Yes.
Yes, I think we did do Mr. Unconscious little goat baby boy.
His were actually all. I think his were already gone.
Yes, because what's his face took them off, right?
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
his were already gone. I removed.
No, it was the other one.
I removed Adra's and Ethereal's. I don't think we got to the second band on Ulvar. I don't remember.
Does Ulvar have all of his off?
He only has one band.
He's
so-
only ever had the one the whole time we've known him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's never not armed exactly.
So everyone else is taken care of, and what, there's just me remaining?
Yes.
So save the best for last, I guess. All right, bright little star, come. Take them off.
That's you, Danriel. Bright little star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, Danriel, what you are.
She glances over at Ulvar.
But to keep morale high, have to keep morale high. Adra, I need your hand. Just for a moment, please.
And I'll
Four.
move to remove Caldrians, hopefully.
As you do that, you hear just Olvard over. I need you to help me hold this up so I can examine it and then identify it. He is not a wizard. He already admitted last session he's not a wizard and he has no idea how to identify these.
Crap.
You literally think he just wants your attention.
So as you
no.
come close, Danriel,
Mm-hmm.
he will look at you right in the eyes.
Okay.
Um,
She doesn't falter at all.
hold on one second.
Another
Jesse.
charisma saving throw, Danriel.
No!
Jesse, this thing.
She has her low charisma father's weakness. Hey, we rolled a 19 though for 20.
Do you remember that?
I have to look at your character sheet to remember exactly what it does.
Here, I send a screenshot for you. I don't know if that matters.
I think what's interesting is Danriel might have the same. So I think you might see it reflected back. I just need to double check. Hold on. And while I'm double checking,
Now I'm like, what the fuck?
Adra, do you say anything?
What? Danriel, what?
I don't know what we're talking about.
What did your daddies do to you? Oh no!
I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know if it was my daddy's.
If you, oh my goodness. Just thinking about Sidril's poor heart, his daughter. Making bad choices, oh no.
Might not have been her making bad choices. Might have been something else entirely. Could have been bad choices.
Lies.
I don't know. We're still learning. Just doesn't remember all the things yet. Who knows? She does help him.
Okay, so she does move over. Give her hand.
Yeah. Yes.
He has you hold the half of a like a tattered map that feels like it's made on a really old kind of canvas. And the map has mad scribblings in really erratic patterns and very poor stick figure drawings of items, perhaps?
Can I do something to try to understand these scribbles?
You certainly can.
What would that be? That'd be like an intelligence thing?
Yeah, it can be. History, a intelligence saving throw, a... What languages do you speak?
Druidic, Elvish, Undercommon. I mean, my intelligence saving throw is bigger than my history, which is 0. 6.
You have no idea. As he's you're holding this up for him so he can like look at it and like make little scratch marks on things, and he's comparing the cloak to one of the drawings. While just to the right of you, Danriel, Adra, you sense this shift in the room. And it's not necessarily uncomfortable, but it is intense. You can't help but look over at this exchange between Danriel and Caldrian, even as you are helping Ulvar, who's trying his best to keep things light, but it's very clear that he feels trash. And so it's all a mask of lie. That energy that passed between you and Danriel of recognizing each other, it rises up again, like a current in your chest, tingling at the base of your spine, kind of making your scalp itchy. Your ears twitch under your hairline. Danriel, reflected in Caldrian's gaze, is a haunting revelation. Dark, unmentionable horrors that remind you of the cage. Remind you of being bent, of feeling hungry. And as this energy rises up, I need Ethereal to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh boy.
The room be struggling right now, guys.
That is yeah, that is a 18. 16 plus 2.
Okay, that is enough to hang on to your butts as your hackles begin to rise, and that urge, like nausea creeping up your esophagus, it gets to your throat, but you manage to keep it swallowed down. But there is such an undercurrent of wanting to break the tension physically
whether it be punching someone in the head right now, starting some kind of fight, calling someone a name. The feeling is so prevalent, but you push past the feeling, Ethereal, and you are ensnared. As you take both slave bands, something different occurs. Egyptian dawn explodes in an array of sparkles, shifting and disappearing, and in a flash of bright white light, there is a vision, and all of you are ensnared. We're going to take a quick BRB right there, so the DM's got to go to the bathroom.
All right. All right, guys, hold on tight. We'll be right back.
Yeah, you got to be good at swallowing in this campaign, that's for sure.
Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. We're back. It's time for some more Dark Rain. Let's go.
And so the room is engulfed in this light. And you all see an event. And this event feels both now and then, before, but effervescent, existing in a liminal space. It is the aftermath of a battlefield. Someone is holding you, Adra, as your lifeblood pools on the ashen ground. But the wounds that will inevitably take your life do not hurt as much as the loss in your heart. Rough hands brush the dirt, soot, and blood from your cheeks, and Danriel. In this moment, you realize who Adra was to you.
Okay.
Her pulse is faint, and she will be lost in a matter of moments. Standing near this scene, in a field of bodies, the smell of ash and blood, rife and thick, is Ethereal and Caldrian, unerring witnesses to this ancient massacre. Mortals of all types litter the battlefield, but there is a distinct defining factor: the children of malice and the children of the above. I need Caldrian and Ethereal, who are not caught up in the emotions of the scene, to make a perception check. Danriel.
Yeah.
To say that she was your very best friend is a gross underestimation of this platonic wifedom that you and Adra once shared. There was never one name mentioned that the other did not follow suit. The two of you, guardians. One, a herald of the Gaia song. The other, a watcher of the line. And the two in tandem, a harmony and melody. You are tasked together from the deities themselves to take care of, to shelter, to watch this valley. For Canicus, Greymore, and Devera to be kept protected and with peace. A great task. A task you knew not would take your life in the end. What did the two of you get on those perceptions?
22 perception.
I got 10.
With a 10, you are still fighting that overwhelming feeling. You made your charisma saving throw. The dark urge stays where it is locked away inside you, underneath the flesh, just bubbling and wanting to break free. You can feel under the fur. All of your tendons are tense. You are watching your recent companions while experiencing this vision with them. But you're distracted by the rage. And then you're distracted by a voice, ethereal. And I'll get to what you hear and see, Caldrian. But the voice is a woman's whisper. It is a siren song, ethereal. It says, I can give you freedom. All you have to do is ask and brave the dark. Tell me, Tabaxi, are you afraid? Are you brave enough? And this woman's voice is just a constant cacophony until you are just about at the point of clawing out your own eardrums, ethereal. I need you to make either a constitution saving throw or a charisma, as the voice itself, the power of this entity speaking to you, is so overwhelming. The desire to tear it free from your flesh is overwhelming. Which would you roll?
I'll do Constitution, and that'll be a natural 20 plus 5, so 25.
You do not blind or deafen yourself as this ancient voice speaks to you, and it does beckon you forward. It tells you to come into the dark, to walk and tally, for not all who wander are lost. And we'll get back to that. Let you sink in with this voice. Caldrian. This moment between Adra and Danriel is only interrupted by a pale shadow, a wraith that stands from the bloodshed with a spear or javelin in hand. They are distant enough that you cannot quite make out their features, but they themselves wear blood like a ruined coat. You do not think they are long for this world, and you know their intentions even before they lift the javelin, and they motion in a way to aim before they let loose in a deadly arc. Even as they throw the wicked black javelin, they plummet to their knees, letting out a scream and a cry. Dexterity saving throw, Caldrian. Adra, Danriel. You, Adra, have lost someone that was fated to be yours in this battle. And it was by your hand, followed by Danriel's, when your hand trembled, that struck the killing blow. You will not survive their loss. However, could you? The wolf song, which is a sacred call of your people, also called the moon song, is a ritual done between souls meant for eternum. And in this moment that your very best friend is holding you, screaming your name, though your spells, Danriel, are utterly exhausted, Your layon of hands empty. Nothing. You are spent. And you can see the moment Adra's eyes glaze over and she is somewhere else. Adra, you are in the woods, the trees that you love so very much, and even then loved. The pool of whispers, a natural hot spring that surrounds the glade of your people, is a natural source of magic where ley lines meet, and it is filled with life. It is where the children are born, the mother stepping into the sacred pool. It is where heroes are named, baptized in the silver waves, and it is where you stand with him, waist high in the warmth, hand in hand. The impermanent tattoos written all over your hands and his, that as your hands come together, the pattern completes itself. And you remember. He is like a swath of winter's light that cuts through the trees. You have never met a fellow so dedicated to others. An unending loyalty, not unlike your own. At the poolside, your best friend and his sister stand arm in arm. Your mother, your father, his father, his mother, his entire royal bloodline. Now everyone's going to get to make choices. And in these choices, they will determine perhaps a subtle change, though what is already written in history cannot be undone. And we're going to start with Ethereal. That ever-calling, seductive voice that whispers to you to brave the dark. The voice pushes almost like a moving map, where you can track your steps to an open slash in the ground. Or you can stay by your new companions, continuing to fight against the caged monstrosity within you. This curse that you bear.
So I would say in this instance, like usually the urge is usually just to follow once in front, not necessarily just stand pat, more or less. And in that regard, he slowly begins to forming the idea of like taking the step forward, just listening to the voice. But then he remembers the man and the cat, man with the silver hair. He kind of just stands there staring out into what would be nothing but the direction of that voice, where it's this siren song that's slowly pulling him in. And verbally, he'll just say, "Oh, but once I have a choice, and I say no."
Charisma saving throw with advantage.
Okay. All right. It's let me make sure. 18.
Okay. With an 18. You. Oh boy. Okay. I gotta make a roll. I have to make a roll between two very powerful opposing forces right now. So I just. Oh boy. Hold on. I'm not ready for this roll. Are you ready for this roll? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I mean, I am ready. Scared. Scared. Okay. Fuck.
Let them duke it out.
I'm
Let them
leaving it up
fight.
to the dice. I'm leaving it up to the dice. Okay, here we go. Okay. There is a overhead, a like clap of thunder. But it's punctuated too swift to actually be thunder. And when you glance up, you see that it is wing beats. Like a heartbeat. The incredibly massive shadow that it casts over the battlefield is greater than a storm. It takes up all of the horizon, it feels like, but at the same moment, it kind of fills you with this hope. And it isn't this raw, joyous feeling ethereal. It is exactly as he described it, the shadow of this dragon overhead. And when you squint, you can see where there are broken pieces in the silver scales. This thing battle-torn and tired and bloodied, and when it lands, you assume a mile or so away, you can still make out its majesty. Its massive talons bracing itself into the side of a mountain. And then it straightens. Its chest scales glimmering like platinum. And the siren voice is gone, replaced with that warrior, tired, dirty hope. And it nods at you. Its great, fanged face dipping. Dragons do not ever bow to mortals. Neither do they make companionship. But in this moment, you are respected. With a giant flap of its wings, leaps from the mountainside, climbing an altitude Streaking behind it, snow and fog from the mountaintop. And then at its peak, its zenith, it roars. Wings flailed. And that roar mimics the feeling inside you. Your choice, your steps, your heart.
I think for Ethereal, it's one of the few times where someone has actually shown him compassion or respect or a sense of self or choice. Due to the overwhelming nature of it all. He begins to cry. It's one of the few times he's ever been able to make a choice for himself instead of it forced upon him. Whether it be circumstance or by someone else's will.
Against your leg, you feel a very tender pressure. And the purring rises up in this battlefield. Still wearing pants, an incredibly fluffy Mr. Sir sits right next to you. A companion, silent but comforting.
He'll pick up Mr. Sir, just putting him in both of his arms, just burying his face, just bawling in tears.
As cats do. The purr is a rippling sound and pressure. And then we meanwhile to Caldrian. Do you try to stop the javelin, or do you let Danriel know that it's coming?
How far am I from Danriel?
You are roughly 25 to 30 feet away. You don't have to. There's a part of you that could just watch this play to its fruition. You understand that this is probably a vision from that holy relic that Danriel was wielding to remove the slave bands, and the magic has created some kind of rift. You do understand that. It is absolutely your choice.
Could he dash and stand in the way
You could.
of the javelin? So he would dash forward to stand in front of it and push back Danriel with his tail and take the hit. He knows that nothing's going to change, but you never really know what this is. Perhaps this is just some sort of dream or an opportunity.
What did you get on that saving throw I had you roll?
23.
Okay. You will be able to rush forward. before we get to the fruition of your actions, Adra and Danriel, you are pulled from the ritual that you were remembering, Adra, where all of you sang once it was completed and you stepped out of the pool. You ran together. You howled. Some of you better than others. He's horrible at it. The howling, he's just terrible, abysmal. But there was laughter and smiles and connection and a raw community so at odds with everything in the Underdark. Your eyes flutter up towards the sky, the shadow passes, and then you see Danriel's face come into focus, and the two of you have a moment. What do you do? What do you say?
Well, I know that Danriel's just crying.
What a coincidence, she does too.
Yay, we're both crying.
A piece of lore for the two of you. There is a set of earrings, and each of you wear one. And they have always enabled you to call your friend at least once a day. These earrings are actually very ugly.
Hell yeah.
They're goblin-made monstrosities. But the story behind them is the best.
I think which would be kind of in line more or less with Adra's nature. Through the tear, she would kind of like give Daniel a crooked smile and start like wiping the tears and kind of say, you were always such an ugly crier. As she sniffles herself.
Only as ugly as you.
Starts like laughing and like presses her forehead against hers.
I don't think I can do this alone.
But we're not alone.
She just blinks hard. Right. Of course not.
Got you. She's kind of like rubbing her hair, like trying to calm her.
He is cold to the touch, Danriel.
She'd put her
And-
hand up to Adra's. Just hold it against her cheek. And just like breathe and remember the feeling and never wanting to forget it. Their closeness, everything. She just never wants to forget. I will forever wish I could save you. Just selfish, I guess.
Not as selfish as me wanting for a lot of things to go differently.
So much of it.
Adra, what is the last thing you say to Danriel before your eyes close forever?
I kiss her cheek.
and you feel her slip away.
She would
And
just
then all at once behind you, as you grip your closest friend against your chest, there is a guttural, terrible sound, a ripping sound. And Caltrin grunts. Glancing behind you, you see his javelin. And you have a flash of present memory outside of this vision. Danriel throwing the javelin to cut his cheek and ear there in the Colosseum. And the smile. And you understand. You simply returned what was owed. What do either of you two do? As well as ethereal, through the emotional moment, you hear the javelin strike, the crunching of bone on this silent battlefield. It is as loud as the dragon's wings.
Now that this is current and present, Danriel, right? Completely?
Still in the vision, but yes. Yes.
Okay. Then she would lie Adra down and turn to Caldrian and try to, like, if he's like going to fall from the impact, she would try to catch him.
Okay, roll in athletics for me. Adra, as soon as you are set down on the ground, you no longer resemble your distant self, and neither does Danriel. It is the you here and now, and your eyes open. And you see above you, Caldrian has taken a javelin through the chest, and he's swaying. Danriel's moved up to grab him. And, really quickly, Ethereal, are you approaching, or do you stay where you're at?
He's already impaled at this moment, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to approach Caldrian because I believe, if I heard correctly, Danriel is going to catch him, right?
Yep. So then, Adra, you hear footsteps approaching as Ethereal comes forward as well. So, what does Adra do in this moment?
With the loud noises, like getting up, do I see like the wraith, whatever the thing that threw the
On his
javelin?
knees, yes. Yes, you do. You see the bloodied white wraith kneeling.
I see Caldrian being impaled and
Mhm.
all that.
Danriel's got a hold of him.
I feel like there's like the surge of rage inside of her, and again, considering it's a vision, but she kind of like, can she shift, like at least like in her mind she shifts into like a wolf, like a beast, and she
You do
wants
shift.
to lunge at the wraith, like full speed ahead,
Okay.
teeth bare.
So Adra is going to take off. He's quite a distance away. It's like 60 to 70 feet. But you are running forward, growling. Okay? I'm going to let the three of you that are still behind free roleplay. Unless anyone is going to join going with after the wraith with Adra. Then I'll let you go first.
Well, I'm in the process of catching Caldrian, so
Yes,
yeah.
You've grabbed him. Ethereal's moved up, so he's in your view.
cat companion either in arms or next to him.
Caldrian is. We'll go. He's very Chinese drama right now, spitting up some mouth blood.
Mouth blood.
And he is. Yeah, you know it's serious when. And he is laughing. You just see him. you, you have a little friend behind you. You should probably go after.
That javelin wasn't meant for you.
No, it was meant for you, but I still took it nonetheless. Why don't you go find out why he threw it in the first place?
I'm gonna use my. All right. I'm gonna use. Yeah. She'll look to Ethereal. Do you have him?
I can hold on to him. He can be my little baby boy for a moment.
I don't need your help, pussycat. Just pull it out, I'll be fine. Actually, you know what? Leave it in there. Leave it in there. It's a nice little trinket.
From the ground. Mo.
So in this in this moment, Ethereal will. He's not gonna pull it out. Like there's like one end sticking out, so he wants to. With
It didn't
his
hit anything
claws.
vital, but it's all the way through the shoulder. Like tendons are. His arm is just hanging. Yeah.
So I would like to do two things actually. I'd like to cut off one end with my claws and just rip out the other end from the front.
Okay. That'll take a athletics. The wood on the haft of the javelin is blackened. Not a tree that grows on the surface as far as you are aware.
That'll be a 19.
Okay, you manage to slash through the wood and it cracks. But as it cracks, its spiderweb's white, like a burned trunk of a tree.
He's going to look at Danriel. I think you are a tad more gentle than I am. So how about you pull it out, and I'll help Adra.
Mao.
Look up at where Adra's run to. Look back at Ethereal. All right. Okay.
Try not to die, horned one. And he runs off.
And I will remove the javelin.
You doing it delicately?
I mean, I'm trying not to cause any more damage than has
Okay.
already been.
Roll a
so.
medicine.
Delicately or otherwise, I feel
Are
like
you moving
Caldrian
it
would be into
slowly? Like, are you trying to remove it slowly, or are you going to do it fast?
I think it's like when you tear off a band-aid. It's like,
Oh, good.
yeah, that's what she's going for.
Okay.
Because if he's already cut off one end, it shouldn't be too hard to be like, what?
Caldrian's just smiling. He's got one half of his mouth smirked up, and he's just still Chinese drama mouth blood, you know?
Right. The medicine was a 15 plus 1 for 16.
As the cat continues to meow, like meow, 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 as you remove the heft of the blade. Two very large bean toe paws just punch the wound, and you and then there is a balm of healing. And then the cat sits back, licks its paws clean of your blood, tail in the air, very pristinely in its pants, walks after Ethereal.
Oh, it's unfortunate, isn't it? I was enjoying that.
You are a strange individual.
Look who's talking. You had somebody throw a fucking javelin at you.
Oh,
What'd you do wrong?
we had a disagreement.
May I ask who? Your little bloody javelin thrower Olympic medalist is?
I know exactly who it was, right? That question. Do I recognize the javelin?
It is not his, but it is a drow's.
Okay.
Probably one fallen near him.
It's not his. The disagreement that caused this whole war.
And what would anyone find disagreeable about you? It's very sarcastic.
Yeah, she just... I think you already know the answer to that.
Oh, but I would love to hear your sweet voice tell me all your deep inner secrets.
Maybe another time. There are other pressing matters, I believe.
I saved your life. Aren't you going to offer me anything?
She's gonna use Hands of Healing. Give him 4 points of healing. There.
Well,
That was lame.
We can
Meanwhile.
talk later.
I'll
As
hold you
Danriel,
to
like-
that.
she like spins to leave you, and you call after her.
You're not going to help me
Adra.
up?
No.
Little shit. Adra, you get to him. Cloak is stained and bloody. It hooks underneath one arm. He is outfitted like a king. Feel like you recognize him. Roll in athletics.
One sec. Do I use the direwolf athletics?
You in this event, up to you. Either one.
Okay. $21.
He, though wounded, is lithe, but you are faster. And you do catch him on the cheek, the shoulder, drawing more blood. And his blood is a very pale blue. And it shimmers like ice reflected against the snow. It's back and forth between the two of you. Instead of regular generic combat, until maybe your party arrives, we'll see. It's a sparring match. And he speaks. But you don't think he realizes that you're who you are now, not who you were then. Why can't you see reason? Why must you incessantly fight me?
I guess the wolf pauses just for a second, kind of hearing him, but there is this like shake of a fur, as if like shaking off like a water of coat, like an animal. And then she lunges again at him.
Okay. This time he lifts his forearm and you catch the vembrace and he says,
Please listen to me.
Peace. And he strokes your fur, even as you grip and you feel the pressure of your jaw an inch from breaking his arm.
Please listen to me.
The I guess she is like her like muzzle scrunched, like teeth deep inside her flesh, and like the gentle touch actually like makes her unclench her teeth and like jump away, kind of like what the fuck. And I think at
She pulls
that
away.
moment, yeah, she pulls away. At that moment, she does transform back. Her like mouth, I imagine, like still covered in his blood, and she's like using the back of her hand, like wiping it, and gives him the most confused look, kind of like not understanding the emotions that are inside of her. She sees him and the words that he's saying to her, only catching a vague understanding of what the fuck is happening.
He pulls off. In this moment, he glances behind you, and Ethereal is moving swiftly towards you, and he pulls off the vembrace, and he holds out his hand. And it's painted. And all of those symbols.
I look down at mine, and I imagine there's no such symbols on this hand.
Not on this hand, no. But as he does step forward, he goes to grab your hand only to shift as Ethereal is within striking range of a ranged weapon.
It's over. I've lost.
And he grabs your hand and he pushes something into it. Something he's just pulled from his belt, and you look down and it is this ornate, beautiful dagger, and somehow you instinctually know that it was his father's. It was his father's given to his younger brother. And he took it from his younger brother's body. You were there. You were there in the Midnight War when he found his little brother.
It has to be you. I've lost. It has to be you.
And that's the point that Ethereal, jogging, slowing, is there just behind you.
I won't stop, and you know I won't. My vengeance is all-consuming.
And at this point, Danriel's about halfway, shortly followed by Calderin. And when he's sure that you're holding the dagger, he lets go. And one gloved hand and one ungloved hand bearing the mark of the wolf song
touch your face if you let him.
She doesn't shift from the touch, and she holds the dagger so hard, like her knuckles are white. I think in this moment, it feels like her, like, the membrane of her soul is like on the verge of popping, but it's still kind of hurt, like holds, and there's like this tremor. Like her face is still scrunched and like that still rush of like anger and like even desire for violence, but at the same time like she starts crying again, feeling like each time this is something she wants to avoid, like this exact moment, and it feels like it's always cornering her.
He whispers, "It has to be you." As Danriel is at your other side, you feel the presence.
All these years I just hoped for another try at so many things. And I guess in this moment, I want to give that chance to you if I ever was destined to have it. And she like presses the tip at his heart before pushing.
This is as Caldrian steps up. As you start to press, you feel the leather, the armor, and he closes his eyes. It has to be you because I will never stop. I will never stop until they are all dead for what they took from me. And he steps into you, and there is a sickening sound.
As she steps
Almost
on me, I like kind of growl, "Look at me!" Like when he's like, I want him to look me in the eyes.
He opens those impossibly blue eyes and looks down at you as blood begins to spill from his mouth. I wish it could have been different. I love you. But I need revenge more. And he begins to gag.
There is this cold shiver as he says like he loves her because she doesn't really understand the meaning of those words right now. It mostly feels like cold water, ice cold water, like thrown in her face. She doesn't really know why she's saying that, But she still says that then I will make you choose otherwise. Like pushes the dagger until it's
You watch the
stabs
light
her.
from his eyes fade, and his large body goes limp. And there is some magic snap that filters through the entire battlefield like a circular blast of air that spans miles. And all of you awaken in the cell, one by one. For there is much time to process in this stunned out silence. The cat hisses, and you hear a dragon's pained cry. That's where we're gonna end tonight.
Oh, nice. I was like, we should go. As always, wow. Thanks for an incredible session.
Yeah.
Damn.
We're just getting started.